Hi, I'm Joe Connolly. Welcome to Studio 11B here at WCBS, and I'm joined by Kevin O'Connor, the President and CEO of BNB Bank, community banking from Montauk to Manhattan. And Kevin and I both love local business and local business stories. Kevin, how do you keep BNB Bank as a big bank but still local in its field?
It's one customer at a time. I spend a lot of time out with customers trying to prove that our relationship model is what it is, which is to get to know your customers intimately. You want to be the phone call from them when they're thinking about what they're doing with their business.
Automatic.
So, I'd like to think between our branch managers, our lenders, and myself that we're having contact as much as once a week. We're basically.
Tell us about a business call or a sales call that you recently went on that you found interesting and that led to a new loan for a company, maybe.
So we were visiting with a company that sells sneakers online. Yeah. And so not knowing a lot about that, and it found out that they basically hire celebrities to kind of come in, shop in their store, and create sort of social media content out of that. And is driving people from, now this is interesting, everybody's talking about digital and delivery. They are driving people with social media into their store to purchase things. And so we're financing some additional build out of retail space.
What are most of the loans that BNB Bank makes used for?
I'll just say to grow their business and create jobs, but it can be either to financing inventory, putting up a new building, financing receivables. What's the great part of what we do is meet with entrepreneurs that continue to reinvent themselves and think of different ways as the economy's changed that they have to deliver value to their customers.
That's exactly what I liked immediately when I started to cover business news. I used to cover sports and politics, is that business owners instinctively see an opening or an opportunity. I love seeing that. And there's an optimism, a can-do behind them.
I often say, I said, as a banker, I get a paycheck every 2 weeks. An entrepreneur only takes home what they have created in value. And so I think that's a great partnership between a banker and an entrepreneur as they continue to see and evolve and grow their businesses.
How is business right now from Montauk to Manhattan?
It feels very good. I think the optimism that has been for the last 2 years continues. I think, as with every entrepreneur, they're optimistic, but they always worry about what may happen. But right now, we are seeing expansion. We are seeing the biggest complaint is finding employees. I think there was some concern about changes in wages and things like that, but people have seemed to absorb that. But there still is this optimism about where this country is going.
Where is this continuing increasing demand coming from what you hear and see?
I think it's certainly coming from our population is growing to a degree. I think the customers and businesses on Long Island are figuring out ways to deliver their products across the country, and it is part of just the overall economy growing. The GNP and GDP is growing, and so that's creating new jobs and new consumers, new buyers.
You see more Long Island and city businesses selling far, far away to markets they never used to be in.
Yes. I think you're seeing a greater distribution places built, growing. One of the things that happened on Long Island is with a lot of the gentrification and the growth of Long Island City and down in Brooklyn, a lot of those companies have moved out to Long Island. They've found cheaper, larger spaces to do their business, and they brought their employees out here.
I bet you love that.
That creates great opportunities for us, and to meet unique businesses. A gentleman that we met builds partitions for all of the Walmart bathrooms. So those are the anecdotes we talked before. Those are you meet amazing people that do things that you would never think of.
And I bet you'll say, come on out. We'll get in my real estate director's car and drive you around and introduce you to everybody I know.
Certainly will.
We'll open doors for you. And, companies say local, but I think I can tell when they mean it and when it's some ad agency's slogan that they parrot.
Right.
And I think you're a local business person. That's how you strike me.
If you think about it, we have 40 odd branches. Each one of our managers is pretty much lives in that community. Right. They volunteer on the school board. They are the treasurers of many organizations, and our lenders the same way. We have some branches where lenders sit in them, many of my people have been in the industry for 30 plus years, and so they sort of know what's going on. We have a gentleman who works for us that you can name an address. He knows the building that's there. He knew the building that was once there, we love to have events where we bring our customers in, and so many of them know each other.
That's when you know you're set in the community.
Yes.
You are now a resource.
I look at what we do as a bank and as our industry is we really provide capital for the entrepreneurs to create jobs, and that is a big part of what we as an industry. I'm part of the state association that we have tried to promote with all of our government officials. Is sort of banking is the backbone of creating jobs and providing the capital.
That's one way. What you just described is one way we judge the success of the small business breakfast at WCBS that you're now partnering with us on, thank you, is by how much buzz there is after the program ends, right, and how many people stay and talk. And usually it goes for about a half hour after we end it. And we love it when that happens.
We feel the same way. I mean, that's, we do many of our sort of marketing events are basically getting people in a room. That's all. The interaction that occurs and the relationships that get built are the best part of it. And yes, you love to see when out of that people are staying together.
Couple of other questions. Did you come up through the banks? Were you a branch manager at one point?
I actually grew up on the finance side of the business. I spent 20 years of my career at North Fork Bank. Worked for a great man, John Canis, and saw the opportunity to come here and really build on what was we were a 100-year-old bank when I got here, but we were principally on the East End. And over the course of the last 10 years, we've grown 6 times in size by expanding really west and delivering what BNB, or formerly Bridgehampton National Bank, had been doing on the East End of Long Island, which is to provide that sort of locally based, local knowledge, local branch managers, local lenders to really work with the entrepreneurs in the business that really make Long Island grow.
And I just want to come back to that point because it's so important. Tell me more about how you grow and stay local. I mean, does something happen someday that crosses your desk and you say, I don't like this. This is too big. Tell me more about how you keep it that way.
I think it starts with the way we've identified where we're going to put branches is to really sort of reach into a community. We wanted to go to Bayshore. We thought that was a community that was up and growing. We went into the Chamber of Commerce and spoke to the people that were part of the Chamber of Commerce and said, who's a good branch manager in town? Who's around town? Who do you see? And we met with that woman and we hired her. And
it's like old-fashioned detective work.
And we offered her the opportunity to basically, we're going to open a branch for you in your town where we know you've been successful, and you will get us in front of the people who will make our business grow.
Wow, that's a nice story, and I wish you the best.
Well, thank you. I appreciate this opportunity. This is, as I said, for us to basically brand with the household name of your breakfast is flattering to us, and we recognize the value that you produce and think it will certainly help us.
And you are coming into Manhattan now. How's that going, and how do you do that? Tell us about that. What's your goal and everything?
I think what we find in Manhattan is while it's a big place, there is still lots of small business here. And so we do the same thing. We partner with accounting firms, law firms, and basically centers of influence. And they introduce us to many of the same types of businesses that exist on Long Island. Instead of, traveling miles this way, I go up and down elevators, but we're finding the same kind of entrepreneurial spirit that's looking for a bank that wants to partner with them.
Well, as a believer in local, don't go changing.
I will not, sir.